Perfect. After a good start of why we don't need the Gurukulam and we taking away all the 18 points that were up for grabs since this morning, we have one final segment for the day, which we're talking about spiritual development. Again, looks like it's pre-planned and the content is something that you want to steal the show with. Let's see what we have in there, and then we'll get into the discussions and the debates. So, spiritual development, maybe we can go through the points. We'll see what are the things that we have, and then let's
Bef-
let's.
Before that,
Mhm.
Bharatji, we thought that we'll do a little thought experiment with the participants who are there. Shall we just quickly ask them before, uh, seeing what are there on the slides?
Mhm.
Shall we just ask them what spirituality means to them? If they can just put it in one word, and if they're not able to put it in one word, maybe one phrase or one sentence.
Okay.
Shall we open up the
I'll
chats?
open the chat. Okay. All right. So here is what we'll do. So,
Hmm.
what does spirituality mean to you in one word or as minimal number of words as possible? One word or one phrase. The chat is
Yes.
open. Let's have some messages coming in. It's mandatory for all the participants to put in their. There's no report card, no judgments, nothing happening here. It's just your thought about what it is. So we have the first entry.
Self-love, being happy, unity, peace. Yes, for those who just joined in, we're just asking what does spirituality mean for you? If you can put it in one word or one phrase, what is spirituality? पीस, अपने आप को जानना, essence, self awareness, source, recognition. Yeah, I think that's about the answers. Uh, Self-love, being happy, unity, peace, अपने आप को जानना, essence, self-awareness, source, and recognition. So interesting. Yeah, thank you for participating in that. So now then we can go ahead and look at the slides that are there. Can you see my screen, Baraji?
Yes.
Okay. So spiritual development. Gurukulam provides a solid spiritual basis for life. It introduces metaphysical practices. Students learn to connect with their inner self. The system emphasizes the pursuit of spiritual growth through sadhana. Spiritual education teaches peace and inner calm. It provides tools to navigate life's challenges with grace. The focus is on self-realization and enlightenment. It encourages a life of devotion and faith. The Gurukulam spiritual teachings offer a purpose beyond material wealth. Sorry. My system seems to have. Yeah, no, that was about it. Those were the 9 points which came under that. So first, shall we see how the Gurukulam takes this? Raiva, do you want to go for it? And then I'll make my case.
Probably, Bharati, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. So what we just go through the slides again. Let's brush it through the last 9 points once again. Let's go back to the slides. And
Okay.
we'll also look at all the points that came on the chat at the same time.
Okay.
Nothing to compare, but for all the people who've put in their answers about what spirituality means to us, let's see what we saw on the slides and how much
Yeah,
we can
I
connect to.
mean, it pretty more or less it covers everything that
Yeah.
people have put in. The Gurukulam provides a solid spiritual basis for life. It introduces metaphysical practices. They learn to connect with their inner self. So those were some of the answers that came in self-awareness and self-knowledge and apne aap ko janna. Emphasize the pursuit of spiritual growth. Spiritual education teaches peace and inner calm. Peace also, somebody said, no?
Yeah.
Provides tools to navigate life's challenges with grace. We covered this extensively yesterday, when we spoke about all the struggles and life problems. One thing that I realized there is, yes, by giving it terms like this, like, the problems and pain and struggles and everything, people may instantly think like, no, I don't have any big problems in my life and stuff. But it is really not until some kind of imminent danger or struggle or strife or tribulation and, all of that hits you. It's about your day-to-day what happens to you on a daily basis also, like those moments of self-doubt, those dilemmas that you are faced with in any aspect of life, like, it's and the world today caters to that weakness that we all have in terms of, like, there are so many courses and there are so many videos and books on like how to, so everybody is trying to make you do something, like how to be more charming, how to be more confident, how to speak with the clarity. And so it's a journey of uh, uh, trying to fit in somehow or keep finding answers. And then there is this world, there is this whole new business strategy. You have coaches for everything from financial coaches, parenting coaches, relationship coaches, and now the new thing is manifestation coaches and everything. So is it really like they have cracked something, or is it that they are exploiting your weakness? So each time when you are hitting on a video, or this is all self-doubt, right? That means there is no clarity within. That means you are trying to be something else. So each time that you are pursuing something like this or seeking an answer like that, are you just trying to fit in to be something else that you are not? Luckily, the Gurukulam system enables an individual who goes through it to have no such seeking like that, trying to be something that they are not. They are not looking for answers anywhere else. And I don't know if it has ever crossed the minds of people who are listening. How do the greatest of philosophers and the great masters, how is it that they have answers to everything? They have answers to every single thing, no matter what question is posed to them. Like, how does that happen? It's because they are awakened to their self. They have self knowledge, so they are able to address anything that is thrown to them, even if it is a question from the audience who is sitting in front of them. So there's a lot of empowerment in that. I see so many people struggling, new mothers having babies. I also was there, like you don't know what to do. You're always looking for an answer. Like, am I doing the right thing? What else should I do? And if you take homeschoolers also, it's not only homeschoolers, in the life of parenting only, they're like, okay, what style of parenting? Polite parenting, authoritative parenting, authoritarian parenting, democratic parenting. It's just the choices are so many, and you don't know what to do, so you're always seeking for answers. How is it, not occur to you that the answers actually comes from within? So,
So
and
that's
you can be
that's
very comfortable in whatever you're doing. So that is one thing that all the children who are in the Gurukulam system rise above. They don't have any such confusion on a day-to-day basis. They are not stuck in dilemmas. They don't have any self-doubt. They have the answers,
that's
and they are able to evoke it and invoke it at the moment that there is a question in their life
it's
journey.
a very right point at which I want to interject here, right?
Uh,
Everybody is looking for answers.
yes.
And that is the reason you're getting so many Instagram video feeds, suggested ads, AO, because they're all dishing out answers. Nobody is letting people ask the right questions. You don't
Yeah.
see any ads coming in asking people about the questions that they have. It's just about giving answers. And as you rightly said, there are a lot of people who are doing things today. There are Gyan is sitting on WhatsApp University and Instagram and all of that. And there are so many things that comes out, right? Everybody's WhatsApp status has knowledge about spirituality. Every Instagram reel has something, ads have something, WhatsApp forwards, Facebook groups, 200 rupees courses of enlightenment, and reaching nirvana is happening. So this is something that is already there and so easily available. You don't have to go anywhere. All that you need to have is a phone with YouTube and
Bharatji, you
some
forgot chakra activation.
chakra chakra activation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that are happening. And 200 rupees Garba Sanskara programs. So if all of these things are there and people are giving spiritual knowledge and answers for all the questions that you didn't even know that you wanted answers for, why look at Gurukulam? It's so easy. All that I need to do is just scroll endlessly, and infinite scroll, infinite wisdom is already available at your fingertips. Why should you take the journey of
But this
I'll tell you
but this
why. Do you
also
think?
but this also proves that there is a demand in the market.
yeah?
Yeah.
Right. I'm like looking at that right now. Like if you have this many of avenues available, if people are providing services, that means it's also true that there is a demand. Otherwise, why would the services be?
The demand is primarily because it is in the nature of the inner being to seek for answers. But people, are seeking answers like this. So basically, the market is exploiting this basic need of seeking that is there in people. And to answer your question, Bharatji, like, yeah, there are so many things. The simple answer is people have tried it, but nothing seems to be working for them.
But I'll try something else.
Yeah, but how
If this
इसमें
not
तो
this
पूरी
guru help,
जिंदगी
another
खत्म हो
guru
गया.
help.
You
Everybody.
try. That's what it's trial and error. No, they spend so much trying. It's not even about the money. It's about time, which is more valuable for them. Their entire life is wasted on trying this.
Okay, no, then wait.
Huh.
We'll come to trial, okay? Bharatji, what's the score so far?
Today 18-0.
18-0. What is the score yesterday?
36. 30 and 6. So we are 48 and 6 for now.
Okay. Now, what are the 6 points in which they got it? Do you remember which section it was?
It was in the first days. First question they took that. Skanda came and dropped a few bombs.
First they took it. Yeah. But that was a core essential. Okay.
Yes.
After that, which is a common point in which they got it?
It was about
Nature and cosmos.
nature and cosmos connecting.
And
to
it
that.
was about
Cosmos, art,
art.
Yeah.
creative art, and then there was storytelling.
Storytelling, yes.
Correct. Storytelling, correct.
And then I think it was about careers they took it, but when we pulled it back.
We pulled it back.
Yeah.
So 6 points came from that section of nature, art. It came from nature and cosmos is 1 point. Then it came from the core essential. That core essential, we had to give it to them. That's, because who we are.
Yeah.
But look at this. Okay. Storytelling, nature, creative arts. Look at those 3 points. Look at any alternative education or Gurukulam that is thriving today. They would have caught on one of these 3 points.
Yeah.
Hmm.
A Gurukulam system would have been introduced with that, okay, we have so many acres of land and we are going back to nature and children are living with nature. The nature thing survives.
Hmm.
You have the Kala Mandalams of the world that are thriving and so prestigious because of art forms. And then you have the narrative style telling, because of which certain systems of education itself is taken by people wholeheartedly because it survives on narration. So the 6 points they have got are the 6 points where there is actually demand. So that way, what the other party is putting, Bharatji, is very nice to say that they're proving that there is demand in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we have to see a Gurukulam that does tarot reading, teaches your child through chakra activation, teaches your what all did she say are very popular? You were also saying, right?
Yeah.
200 rupees Garbha Sanskar.
Yes.
A Gurukulam that would do all of that should actually thrive. So yeah. So Raiva, please take cues.
What is lacking is, they don't know that all of this can be taught, not taught, actually can be, the environment can be created in a systemic manner. That is the Gurukulam system in which these things are naturally coming out. So
we discussed that the very fact that can life be learned with the structure itself. How many people can you speak to? How many people, okay, you want confidence. Today we were speaking about courage. All of these things can be learned systematically in a structure. It's not trial and error and experience. You don't learn life trying to experience life.
Correct.
You learn life and then you go experience a beautiful life.
Precisely.
Right. So that, and for every point, for the rest, how many points did we get totally? They got 6 and we have got. Sorry, Bharatji, didn't hear you. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, 48.
48.
Yeah.
So for 48 points, 48 times I've heard it's just because people don't know. It's just because people don't know. It's just because people don't know. They should just be aware. They should just think about it once. Now you had a sample here where all the audience answered what spirituality means to them, and it is a perfect match with what the Gurukulam is giving. So there is a demand, and the Gurukulam is supplying that, but the supply is being fulfilled by other things. Why?
Better, I don't know, marketing, advertising, using fear as the bait to trap innocence are some of the thoughts that are coming
So this is again another thing. No, we missed another thing. Intuition. So this is exactly what happened. I counted the scores, including the next 9 points that we are going to take, and I said we are 48. We are actually 48 minus 9. So for I stayed claim for the 9 points also. We are at 21 plus 9. We are at 30 points right now. I counted even the 9 points that we are going to take as an intuition.
Yeah, so
Okay,
your intuition is very strong because
we get intuitive points. But the thing is, Nutama, here, see, it becomes difficult because in this sample audience itself, what they're given as a one line or a one word for spirituality matches what the Gurukulam provides, right? So you have a demand, but the Gurukulam is not the source for the supply. Why?
Yeah, I guess it really leads you to break away from your conditioning and get really uncomfortable from trying to move away from the norm. It does take a lot of courage. So I don't know if anybody is really, if people just want it like that, by doing it
So there
a
are no
course.
Yes, so there are no
willing to commit to a long period of time. So
process completely. They don't want to go through that process. So no instant gratification is here.
Yeah.
There's no instant gratification.
It's a journey.
Here. Yes. That is one thing. And also from the things that I have heard, seen, spoken, done before as well. Spirituality is something that I'll do after पढ़ लिख के कुछ बन जाओ उसके बाद spirituality. Right? So after I retire, I'll think of spirituality. अभी busy हूँ, time नहीं है. So spirituality is not for children. This is for me after I retire. Is something that I think we discussed about it yesterday. So there's still that common thing, right? I'll get time to do stuff, then I'll get into spirituality. Like children and spirituality, nobody even relates to it.
Yeah.
So let's say for example, the audience here we have right now is a good sample for us. Let's ask them a question once again and open the chat out. What is the difference between spirituality and religion? What is the difference between spirituality and religion?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say for example, the audience here we have right now is a good sample for us. Let's ask them a question once again and open the chat out. The question is, why do children need to develop spiritually? Let's just check out the answers, okay? Let's just check, just as a sample. Let's invite the audience to answer this question. Why do children need spiritual development? Okay, it's very different from what is spirituality. You get it? What is spirituality? You have, like, if someone says peace, why do the child need to develop spiritually? It's a different question. So let's open it out and get one-line answers or whatever people want to give.
Yep, please type in. Please.
The question is, why do children need to develop spiritually? Why is spiritual development important for children? Is the chat open?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So we have one answer here that's essential for character development. To remain grounded and anchor themselves.
For maximum potential utilization. Please keep the answers coming. To recognize their true nature. To align to universe and bring the purpose of their life. Inner abilities. They are able to live powerfully and live the best version of themselves. To know themselves. To be connected to the source.
All nice answers. All very deep answers. Evolve and progress to be peaceful within. How many are those? How many answers have we got so far?
Ten of them.
So to play the game of life well, shall we take this as a sample?
Yeah.
Most children don't know how to handle emotions. So learn how to handle emotions. Okay. Shall we take this as a sample, or is there anyone who wants to add?
Yeah, looks like this is the sample.
Okay. So to whoever has answered, okay, like, for example, if somebody has answered, like Artiji has answered, to know themselves, right? Okay. So here's a question to each one. Okay. You take the statement that you have put in the chat of why spiritual development is important for children, and just give the answer of whatever is the result that you have mentioned. Have you achieved it completely to your satisfaction through your spiritual development? It's a yes or no answer. Okay, so without mentioning names right now, I've got 2 no's. So the 2 no's are for
3 no's now.
3 no's now. 4.
4 no's.
5. And I know all of them are honest. 6.
6 no's.
Right? So majority, 7 no's now.
Yes.
The yes and no, the yes has come for the character, the no has come for the emotions. Or the yes has come for the emotions, no has come for the character. Anyway, because the two answers were given by the same person. Okay. So you look at it, when there is a no in everybody's answer, right? What is the faith in which you send a child to a Gurukulam for spiritual development? Because you as an adult, your spiritual development has not given the end result. And yes, spirituality and spiritual development can give any end result that you desire for. But when you don't have a sense of achieving that, how will you trust a process and put your child in that process to achieve that which you have not achieved? Because we have a very honest audience here. It takes a lot of courage and humility to answer this. And I have great respect for the audience here. Many people would not. So how would somebody put a child into a system which is yet only aspirational for them? Do I get the 9 points?
Yes, it's a pretty uncomfortable situation for them. So,
right? And stark opposite, if I would have asked what percentage you got as a result of an academic training, and have you successfully completed your academic education, the answer would have been yes, 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 yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
And if that is a yes, yes for you, it's a tried and tested method for yourself. So you don't have to think twice about putting your child into that system. Whether you're happy or unhappy about it, the fact is that you know that you've completed and at least achieved something that was expected from the system. How many people enter a spiritual, so-called spiritual journey of guidance and feel that they're unfulfilled and feel that there's yet more to achieve, that I have not reached there? They get the message that, you can never complete this journey. There's no validation. There's no sense of completion. You get it? So it is such an abstract thing that I have never reached, and I can probably never reach as an adult, because it's too abstract. It is a learning curve that goes on forever and ever. With what faith do I put my child into that system? Even you as a panelist, if you had answered the question, and if I asked you, is it a yes or a no, what would you have put?
Yes. No, I would have. Yes, I would have put no. Is my answer.
Right? Both the parents would have put a no.
Yes.
And the student or the learner who has gone through the Gurukulam would have put yes.
Yes, that I can say with conviction, that every student who is in the Gurukulam, through the Gurukulam system of education, their answers would have been yes, yes, yes.
I will just take the Leela Gurukulam children alone.
Yeah.
The 25 who are presently here, physical center, the 6 who are entered online now, and the 80 plus who have completed their, have started their journey from 5 years back. If you put all these 100 children, all of them will answer yes. So when it's a no, it's abstract and it's a no, with what conviction will they come back to the system? Nutanma, do I get the points?
It requires faith. And that is a very subjective thing. So,
it's a huge ask. It's a huge ask.
It's a huge ask, yes. It's a huge ask.
So in the message, let's scroll up. Let's scroll up to the question that was put. Why is spiritual development important for children? And just for the benefit of everybody, just read out the answers one by one.
So the answers: self-love, being happy, unity. This is all what spirituality.
Not that one. Not that one. The second question.
Okay. Why is spiritual development important for children? Character is the core to anchor themselves for maximum potential utilization, to recognize their true nature, to align to the universe and bring the purpose of their life forward. Inner ability, they are able to live powerfully and live the best version of themselves, to know themselves, to be connected to the source, evolve and progress, to be peaceful within, to play the game of life well. And most children don't know how to handle their emotions.
So every parent answer here is an answer that they hope their child receives, which they haven't achieved. And hope doesn't make you put your child into the journey. You can't be sending your child to Gurukulam with hope. Faith does not need evidential proof. I mean, sensorial evidence. It does not need to be proved.
Yeah.
But hope needs a tag. So yes, there is lack of faith. Now let's go to the answers of the first question.
So yeah, the question was, what is spirituality? What does it mean to you in one word or one phrase? The answers that rolled in were self-love, being happy, unity, peace, अपने आप को जानना, essence, self-awareness, source, and recognition.
So is Gurukulam the only way that a child can receive that? Have only the children in the Gurukulam path received these?
In the ways that you could receive it, I would put Gurukulam in the number one spot.
So Gurukulam education, that method, that path is like a sure shot or a shortcut for a child.
Yeah.
But has the path of spirituality given the achievements to the adults as they have listed below? They all have said no. So that spiritual content does something very different to children and does something very different to an adult. You see the difference?
Yeah.
And a class on a Bhagavad Gita does something very different to an adult, does something very different to a child.
Yeah. It's like trying to work with fresh moldable clay versus trying to work with the full baked pot.
Or you can think about it very differently, because Sanatana Dharma says you can get into it at any time, right? It doesn't stop you, right? It's never given you that now you're 30, so there's no spiritual development for you. We have to understand it like this. What happens if I give a cup of chai to a baby? A cup of chai can refresh the adult. What will it do to a small baby, a 1-month-old baby? Right? Or what does a cup of baby food do to an adult? Your tummy gets upset for 3 days if you try to have. Everybody in my Saupardika has tried to have Cerelac and they couldn't down it. Right? Because when both of you had your babies and then your babies was sprawling around over here, they were so tempted to try the baby food and all of their tummies got upset. Because they think, okay, this is mild and mellow. How can it do something to me? But then they realize that that's not how the gut works anymore. So the content that is given to children is and the way they digest spiritual content is very different. How it becomes one within them. The same spiritual content that was not able to give an adult the achievement that they seek can give super achievement to the children. But the adult is not able to sort of have that in their knowledge because they haven't received the same thing. Right? I can take some examples from what's written as like, if the answer is to anchor themselves or to ground themselves, they don't know what non-anchoring means. They are already anchored. So they don't know what is that non-anchoring. Or if you look at character development, a child below the age of 12 doesn't have that concept at all. Like we've been talking about character development a lot, of how it is confused with morality. So spiritual development is not going to teach a child from rights and wrongs. Look at maximum potential for utilization, right? For a child, maximum potential is infinite. And it is not utilized. It's just converted into capacity, which is something that an adult mind cannot take. Again, a child does not have a second nature, so they don't know what true nature means. They don't have that concept. They're open. They are what they are.
Yeah, that's true.
So whatever this aspiration is already an achievement for the child. But an adult can never write to preserve their true nature, right? Or to channelize their true nature. Because an adult is seeking for a true nature. I'm not targeting people here. I'm just going by the irrespective of who said it. To align with the universe and bring the purpose of their life. Imagine they're aligned with the universe even before they're born. Through infancy, they're already brought the purpose of their life. They're already with the purpose and they're in alignment. For them, spiritual development means not to misalign. So you already are complete. You already are divine. And the Gurukulam for a child is only going to provide the techniques with which you don't lose yourself. The whole idea of the Gurukulam is that you're already born complete. You're already born all knowledge. Nothing else needs to be given. You're already there. And if the answer is inner ability, a child is born with all inner abilities. Still, the world tells it only to use this ability or only to use that ability or to only use abilities in a particular way. Right? The next sentence says to be able to live powerfully and the best version of themselves. They are. Do you see the lack of respect for children is coming out now? The idea that they're miniature human beings, they're ignorant and they need to be made into something. Whereas Sanatana Dharma teaches us that every human being is born complete. They are our super seniors. They are the spirit that is descended with a body onto this planet. Treat them with respect. They are divine. They are devatas. And they are coming in this human form, and the job of the Gurukulam is to empower them with the idea that divinity is already inside them. And these are the ways you can preserve and progress with that divinity, not to be corrected. Right? To know themselves, they are the ones who know themselves and their parents the best. They just start knowing themselves differently when society tells them that they are supposed to be different. We have the story of Hastamlaka who told Shankaracharya, right? Whom are you asking to move? The body, the mind, or what? And Shankaracharya was like, who are you, dude? You know, it's like, how are you this? So they already know themselves. To be connected to the source, are we disconnected? Yes. Are they connected? Yes, absolutely connected. Yeah. They are coming from the cosmic plane right now. You're telling that they are not connected?
Yeah.
Right? To evolve, progress, and to be peaceful within. They are born as peace. They are born as Ananda. The disruption is what comes later. Yeah. And they all are born as players of the game of life. They become pawns later. Okay. Most children don't know how to handle their emotions. Is so true because they're emotional beings. They need to be channelized. So the Gurukulam does the job of, I won't use the word domesticating, but at least helping, subduing and channelizing the Danava in them. The Madhava is already there. So what the spiritual content does for a child is very different from what is expected in an adult. So if the adult is not getting the achievement and the end result, with what faith will they put the child in the Gurukulam? Spiritual development for an adult could be a path of progressing, a path of unlearning and breaking and relearning. All those words only fit adults. For a child, spiritual development is being what I am and making sure that nothing else tells me what I need to be. Do you think the world is ready to accept that? Bharaji, are we having a full house today?
Yes.
Yes, I will give you that point by saying the Gurukulam is for children, but unfortunately, the full-grown adults don't let them.
No, it's about going back to the point what Ma mentioned, right? Children are born perfect. They're at their best self. Gurukulam is about
Bharaji, not perfect, complete.
Complete rather, yeah. And it's about
Perfection is not given to human beings.
Yes.
Perfection is not an attribute given to human being. If you're perfect, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. So it's just about keeping them on the track and not letting them lose or forget what they already are.
Yeah.
That is when we parents come in to say, yeah, you could be that.
So the Gurukulam's job, as far as a child is concerned, is working towards, like people work against, protecting against air pollution and water pollution. Basically, the Gurukulam works against spiritual pollution because they're coming pristine. No Gurukulam educator, mentor, or no Gurukulam parent will sit and question the universe, question creation, that you created something that needs to be corrected. Yes, there's something that's created, that spirit has come onto this planet, and it has to harmonize with the ways of the planet, along with recognizing and being connected to the divinity that they already are. You can't go and infuse divinity in divinity. That's pretty crazy. So children are born, all of us are born. And as we develop, that's the game of life, that the conditioning comes in and everything comes in, and so the game of life starts, since at least three of you, I don't know whether many of you have played board games, there is something called as an initial setup. What do you do in the initial setup? You open the box, you read the rules of the game, you check out all the components of the game. Let's say, for the purpose of people here who might not have played a board game, imagine you're playing chess for the first time. So you get the box, you open the rule book, and then you see, okay, isko aise aise arrange karna hai, right? So you'll get familiar with the components, and then you'll arrange the components, and then you'll do some trials of how the movement happens. All of that. The initial setup is what the Gurukulam is doing for you. The teaching of the rule book is what, familiarization of the rule book, the rules of the game is what the Gurukulam is doing for you, so that you can start playing the game of life. But when an adult is coming, the adult is already playing that game with different rules, probably with half the components. So that adult can't go back to the box situation again. That's a problem. That's why someone who comes into true spiritual learning is called a Dvija, somebody who is born again, someone who's gone back into the box again and is willing to start again and check whether I have all the components. Have I made the setup? Have I read all the rules? Do I have the rule book or not? If not, I've been playing a half game till now. But most adults have a comfort with components they have found and the rules that they are used to playing. So it's very difficult to go back and relearn the game once again. So with half the components and distorted rules, now you want the comfort of being that, yet play the complete game of the chess. It's not going to help. So this sample experiment itself says what it means, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it means that, yes, everybody should get out of their comfortably numb states and be ready to be uncomfortable.
Now discomfort in learning is completely clashes against the pursuit of pleasure, which has always been given as an aim for humanity. Unless you find pleasure in being uncomfortable.
As somebody who is like, I'll speak as a Gurukulam learner, not as a mentor now. Ma's right. When we used to sit for sessions, or now when the children sit for sessions, we just sit to learn. We have no agenda. That when I was learning, first of all, for me, spirituality was never another bracket. It is what it is.
Raiva, for most kids, for all of the kids, for all children, spirituality is not a different bracket because they are spirit.
Yes, so we learn later that, okay, for adults, spirituality is something different. That is something that's a piece of information that we get to know later, that adults look at it differently. But for us, it is what it is. It is the thing that we are learning.
Please elaborate with examples that you have had. When your batch reached 13, 14 and you realize that adults are not getting the point. Then what has happened to your batchmates with their parents, with the society? How did you match that? And at what point do you realize that adults don't know what you know? So you have to start faking being a child in their eyes, or not a child, but being ignorant in their eyes.
Yeah, I personally realized it. So, okay, we do this thing in the Gurukulam, which happened to us also, and which we are doing with the older children now also. There are some sessions, some specific spiritual sessions, which they sit with adults for. So when we were sitting for few of the Bhagavad Gita classes and classes to do with few elements of spirituality with our parents or other adults around, usually the mentor is addressing the adults directly, and we are just in the back seat, or we are in the front or in the side just listening. And there were some examples that used to come across, and we are like, why is this example even there? Like, okay, if this is what it is, that is what it is. Why should there be an example and explanation for it? But then we look at the adults and they're asking more and more questions about it, and they're genuinely confused about it. And for us, it's like, it is okay, there are three gunas in the universe. There are three gunas in the universe. Why? What is the thing to actually debate about it? So that is genuinely what the five of us, at that time, five of us used to sit together. We are just listening, we are seeing the adults are asking questions. After the fourth or fifth session that we had with adults, we realized when the Q&A part comes, it's better to shut down. Because their questions is not something we can relate to. So we used to be actively listening till Q&A.
Let's actually say they thought it's supremely dumb.
Yeah. See, I can be honest, but I don't want to be to that level. We thought it's dumb. We thought it's really silly. We didn't know what they were confused about. And then after a year of having sessions, we realized that they can't see something which we are seeing. So the compassion came in. Initially, it was, why is this adult behaving like this? I mean, you are supposed to be an adult, so you should be understanding. We are in your class. And then we realized the class is actually for us. They just happen to be props. And then we are like, probably we should be a little sometimes they get the very idea that they don't think spirituality is practical is something that we disconnect with. Which I know right now, see, even right now as I'm talking for many adults, it would be alien.
I'll actually give an example so that it becomes a little more clear. Are you both comfortable with this?
Yes.
Okay. The class is on Kshetrajna Yoga, okay, of Bhagavad Gita. So they're all sitting and I'm talking about, the field of energy and what Kshetra means. And Kshetra is that field of energy, and the field of energy does something to us. And therefore, even when you're sitting in a class or when you're sitting in a session, it's important to not do anything and just be, and don't let anything else interfere. You might not realize, like, that's what I was generally giving in that session. I remember that session very clearly, and I know that it has been 12 years, but that session I remember very clearly because of the questions that came after that. Okay. So I'm telling, be in that field, because all the sounds that you hear is not one person's opinion. Forget about it. Just be in that place. Like after you eat your food, you don't know how digestion is taking place. Your experience of eating is only till the tongue. The teeth is chewing, the tongue is experiencing. But the entire digestion process is beyond the tongue. Okay. And allow that digestion to happen. Know that you have eaten and allow that digestion to happen. And that's called being in the field. So the equivalent of the tongue is the ears. And I remember that's the day I told people, if you look at Bharat Mata, if you look at Ma Bharati, if you're a Bharatiya, and you can visualize what Bharata is speaking to you, probably the only thing she's saying is, तुम मुझे अपना कान दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगी. Not खून, कान. So, just taking off from my great role model, Subhash Chandra Bose, I just mentioned that line. Cut to the break happens. Okay. And at the break, people are talking about, this thing happened, tumhare WhatsApp mein ye, neighbor, wo, ye, building, upar, niche. They are going on talking about it. And these kids are like, hello, you just heard. be in silence and allow yourself to digest it? Can't you just resist the temptation of gossiping for half an hour of lunch break? And all these kids are having their food and sitting in silence in a corner. So when that session was over, this batch came to me, and finally, after, I think they've been thinking about it for a month or something. They came and asked me, and it was not Raiva Skandar, somebody's come and asked me, my parents don't get it, is it? Like when I'm doing an online session and I'm trying to be quiet and staring at the wall, they come and ask me, are you okay? Are you sad? Do you want to eat? Do you want to go? And I'm trying to tell them, just be quiet. I heard something and I've been told that there is digestion going on, and I'm waiting for the digestion to happen in my heart. Why don't they get it? They were in the same class as me. So it took another 1 month for me to explain to the children why you should have compassion, because there's so much of condition and struggle that an adult is going through. And then, they went through a phase of thinking that their parents are not doing stuff, and they're basically parents are idiots kind of a thing. They go through that phase and then they get into the compassion phase. And right now, I think Bharatji is experiencing it firsthand. So I will leave it to him to explain more on the other side of what Rai was trying to say.
Yeah, so that was one thing where you just heard something, but then you do the exact opposite 5 minutes after the class. That was something that used to happen. And then there was a later point at the Gurukulam. Everyone here who was here in the earlier sessions today, there were times where we had a really important class. And Sauparnika was not the same structure as Leela Gurukulam. It was we all lived in one flat together. So it was very semi-residential type. Now we are doing something, we are having very important classes. It's super important for us because for us it's our education. We are learning life. And our parents know that. And we cannot, this is something as children we couldn't believe. There is a distant relative not connected to this person directly, has a wedding. These people have been invited. The child doesn't want to go, but still the permission is being asked, can I take the child? And for us at that time, it was
a collective project on Panchatantra. And
Yeah,
the child was weeping in tears, saying that this is important for me. But then, can you imagine the plight of the child? And that child comes and tells me, Mirama, please save me. What do you do when a child comes and asks you that? You talk about spiritual development. Everybody, what they answered, those parents also answered the same thing. And this child comes and tells me, Mirama, please save me. What do I do?
Then we used to internally, when our batch grew to 10, we used to discuss amongst ourselves, they say this is important. They say they want us to be happy. They say they want us to learn life. We are having a class on life, and they want us to do something which is a social obligation for them, not even for us. And we are like, for what? Like, children used to think, like, our batch used to think, what if I was sick? Would they have forced me? What if I had an exam? Would they have forced me? Or what if I go tell them I have a Gurukulam event, you leave your office and come? Would they have come? So that was a phase we went through. And it's a phase, I think even now our Leela Gurukulam children will go through it, where they'll find it silly that why are adults listening to something but they're not aligning with it the next day. Then they'll go through the phase of compassion. That's what we went through. Then there is a phase of, to be very honest and blank, there is a phase of almost feeling abandoned, that you want something for me. I also want that for myself now. I'm working on it. You want me to work on it. Then why are you asking me to do something else at the same time? So there is that feeling of abandonment that creeped in the middle. And then there was another phase, I think probably one of the most important phases that we had in our curriculum, where we understood after a certain age, what is the role of a child in a parent's life? And then there was a different sense of responsibility that we got into, where we realized that till a point of time, uh, parents are the ones supporting the children more, or parents are the ones guiding more of the milestone development of the children. But after a point, it's a child who has to give back to the parent. And probably we all are reaching that place. And that realization came up with that took time to settle in and digest. And then we realized we also have to actively there was a different kind of compassion and bonding. I think my entire batch, whether the parent was irritating, whether the parent we felt was understanding the point or not, whether we felt the parent wants Gurukulam for themselves but is not able to crack their conditioning, whatever the situation could be, there was a sense of love, understanding, empathy that just came into us towards all of them. And when I say all of them, for us, the way we all came together, right? There is no difference. All the 10 of us look at all of them as our mother and father. And we had the compassion towards each one of them. The lucky thing for us was we had each other. So if somebody's sad, at least they had the 9 of us to come and tell that, my parent is doing this. And there was no judgment. That was another thing which we couldn't believe.
It was like, I'll give an example. We were learning the Ganesha Yantra and what the energy of Ganesha means. And in the middle of that class, there were a set of 4 parents who came and said, in their apartment, there is Ganesh Chaturthi festivals and they want their children to come and perform there. And it's important for their social life that the children come and do there. And these kids actually were sharing with their peers that, bro, I am having a relationship with Ganesha here. And it's not me going and dancing for a Ganesh Chaturthi. For my parents' validation, that's important. What can I do about it? Can you all relate to what that 13, 14-year-old's child is yearning for? There's an introduction to Lajja Gauri that I'm speaking about. Lajja Gauri resides in the skin, and therefore the clothes we wear and what we choose to expose is very different. How you can find indigenous aborigines, tribals who wear different clothes, and how that show of skin relates to Lajja Gauri. While I had a Gurukulam parent actually tell the girl, no, as long as you're in the Gurukulam, just wear full sleeves because that's what Nirama wants. But when you come out and you come back home, please dress according to how society, all children of your age group are dressing. If you don't wear sleeveless and walk around like modern, what am I going to answer the society? That's the extent. And that girl is coming and telling me, I don't want to wear it because I don't think it portrays who I am. And I don't choose. I want to learn what Lajja Gauri means inside me. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so there are many things that which happened, which still happen. And for all of us, we had each other to come and share at least. And the one more thing which we used to find very shocking, which we realized after growing up a little bit, probably I still haven't got it, but generally have a sense of it. Our spiritual lives are not private because that is our life and we are not private. That is who we are. So we don't, for us, our spiritual life is, and I know when I say this for people, it is private. That's why probably people who are in the Gurukulam cannot talk about their experiences openly because it's a very private story. Our spiritual life is just us being us. Like it is our life. So we used to be very open. We are very open with each other about whatever is happening in our life, and there is zero judgment. If I go talk about my own trait to my Gurukulam mate, there is zero judgment. There is no judgment at all, and we couldn't comprehend after a point how can there be judgment in a relationship in the first place. But then that was again a learning that came about the way. There is something called conditioning that also happens the way people are educated or brought up right now. It's not all like this. So that wave of and then we realize that okay, for adults it is a private thing. It is something they go through themselves.
And
it's
they're
not
ashamed of.
as
And
free-flowing.
their bhakti is something they're ashamed of. Because as a small child, be it in Gurukulam or not, is very sure that I was looking at Rama's photo and I saw the eyes blinking. They're very sure about it. They're very sure that there was an interaction. They're very sure that I was talking to Rama and I saw that flower coming to me. And they're unabashed about it. They're not humiliated by their bhakti. But they come and sometimes share it with us like, you know what, this is a secret. I can't tell because I don't think my papa will understand or my mama will understand. They're very clear that the parents will not understand. And after Praishartha, as they come to Samavartana, the Gurukulam takes them to a journey of actually making their parents the first specimen of observation. Observe your parents' conditioning because that is part of your programming. Right? And this is where your parents are stuck, and this is how you can develop by contributing back into your parent. And the first compassion that you should have is for your parent. And when you see that, when anybody here can even understand what that transformation is, it's brilliant, because they fall in love with their parents once again. They fall in love with their parents for what they really are, because they are the ones who know their parents from inside. And that's a beautiful journey.
Our Leela Gurukulam parents, when we told them that, okay, children are coming into Praishartha, we will be openly talking to them about your energy construct also, because that's an integral part of who the children are, and it intimidates you parents. That why should, like, or not why should, but my child getting to know the weaknesses of me, because everybody has strengths and weaknesses. There's no going back on that. But from a child's perspective, knowing, and it's been uniform throughout my batch, the more we get to know about our parents' weaknesses, we fall in love with them even more. I don't know how that happens, but it does happen. Strengths are there, it's evident, and we know we have their strengths. But when we catch on to what weaknesses they have that we might also be having, or we might be channelizing better than them, there is another kind of love that starts flowing in, because there's zero resistance now.
So how many parents are okay with that? The children knowing them better than themselves, knowing their weaknesses, loving them for it. And children, I have testimonials with me in my heart, where children have come back and told me that, my amma, in her childhood, she got this, so she's trying to protect me. That's all she's trying to do. But this is not who she really is. She's actually Devi Ma. When a child can tell me that, what level of love has a child reached? We isolate children so that they can be reunited again with love. That's a big process. See, the parent is the first prop for spiritual development for the child. Parenting is a spiritual sadhana as far as Sanatana Dharma is concerned. You become a parent so there is somebody who knows you from inside. Pratyaksha Deva they are. They know you from inside, they transcend who you are, and they give you that opportunity to be born again. When will that respect for children come? And I'm not saying this for 9 points. In the previous session, I've told very clearly, my children are my gurus. Especially my youngest one, who's the biggest challenge, is my biggest guru. Yes, Raiva, please go on.
So yeah, I actually didn't really have a counter to this, because for me, counter to either side, because for me, spirituality, I don't, in my mind, it's not a separate bracket. It's only because I know the world right now has it in a separate bracket that I've externally, artificially learned it, and I relate with what others relate to, but I myself am not connected to it that way. And I know my batch and children of the Gurukulam right now also relate to it the same way, the way I look at it. So, like how Meera was saying, the adult mind looks at it very differently. And somebody who's brought up with Gurukulam education, with spirituality being just them, with spirituality being the core, everything being spiritual, everything being divine, when those minds also become adult, they don't look at spirituality the way an adult introduced to spirituality looks like. And I'm saying this not only looking at the Gurukulam children, I'm saying this being connected to a beautiful spiritual family whom I know have genuine adults trying hard to take in spiritual concepts like a child. So you really have to become the child that you are again to grasp spirituality fully.
Probably, Raiva, it's very difficult. Sorry to interrupt you. Probably it's very difficult because for a child, the questions that an adult has about spirituality is the questions that a child has always had about physicality. Because I'm saying this after I've seen around 1,500 children. The questions that adults are intrigued about, right, what I can't achieve, is what children have always asked me about physicality. A mustache developing or a breast developing or pubic hair are the questions that children have asked me. That's what they are like. What am I growing into? What are these new things happening to me? Have been a bigger part of their development than what is the universe, or what is my anchor, what is my core self, what is my potential. That has never been a question of a child. They are already there. Children's questions are very different. It's like, what is this thing I'm feeling? Why am I getting attracted? Why is this thing of, feeling shy, feeling embarrassed? What is this thing? What is this attraction I'm feeling right now? Those are the questions that children have always come back to me for, all across 1,500, not just the two that are biologically mine, have all come back to me with these questions, not questions of who am I, what is the universe, how to connect to a devata. There's been no struggle there at all. So as much as a parent is an adult would be focused on spiritual development, is where a child is focused on physical development, because that's what is happening in their life right now.
Yeah. Yeah. This is true of all the children within the Gurukulam system of education. On the other side of the spectrum, parents, I see like in parent
They're in
meetings,
chaos. They're in chaos and
in
confusion.
clubs and
Yeah,
in communities and everything. It's like they are thrown off guard when little babies under 5 years ask them metaphysical questions like, what is death? Is there God? And
Is Krishna real? Was he really there?
yes, yeah,
And the parent is like zapped, because
yeah.
you have to tell the child that Krishna was really there, but is that conviction there in your heart? Is it mythical? Is it imaginary? Is it real? Is it historical? But the questions of the children have always pushed the adult to seek, and the
Yes,
questions of the adult have always made the children sink.
yes,
That is something we have to understand. The quality of the questions have been different on both sides. And Raiva, I think you wanted to complete something. Sorry, I interrupted you. You can complete your point, please.
I think the final thing that when I was sharing the things that we thought of as growing up, that we notice in adults, which we knew was because of noticing, we realized it's different in us. Is spirituality was never problem solving for us. It's not that okay, my emotions are not working properly, or I'm not thinking straight, or I don't have this thing in life. I have a void. That's why I need spirituality. We never connected why. I mean, we know our spiritual self is what gives us everything in our mind, emotions, and body. But we wouldn't go back to spirituality only to fix one thing, because it's our entirety that spirituality is. So when we used to notice in some sessions or some interactions, when we used to notice how some people approached you or Babaji or other mentors of ours, we realized they're actually not speaking spirituality as much as a solution to just one problem, but they are calling it spirituality, which for us was very weird as children. We are like, this uncle doesn't want spiritual seeking; he wants something else, and he's just mistaking it to some other comfort he's getting from here. So yeah, that used to be one internal gossip discussion that we used to have, that no, this person seems like they're looking for something else.
And
We
for them, it was a gossip discussion. For me, it was a teachable moment, because the more parents exposure children got, the more they learned where adults are stuck, where we need not be stuck. So basically, parents are a very important part of the content of Leela Gurukulam. Raiva, please go on.
Yeah,
they are
no, that's all.
lab
That's all I wanted to
rats.
share.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how I'm sharing with both of you. That's how we have used you.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you. We've been of great help to you.
willingly,
And
yes.
what I'm gonna say now has got nothing to do with the points. So with that caveat, see, I'm here talking about this as an adult, as a parent in general terms, right? So we are kind of the people who have gotten used to, and before we go there, right? So we studied and became experts at things that we had it in our syllabus as we were growing up. We spent a lot of time, we put in a lot of effort to learn and get scores in it. Spirituality was not one of the subjects that we had in our syllabus ever in the 16, 18 years of our learning. So for us, it was something like, I can learn this once I've done with studying. right? When I have nothing much to study and I have nothing much to do, is when it came to that. But then after that, we got into our professions and the jobs and life, and then we got used to the chai from the chai vending machine, where the chai is made to fit for all. There's no sugar in it as it is being prepared. So you get your chai, sugar side में जितना चाहिए डाल लो. So that is where we are. So this is what this topic has also become something like that. जितना चाहिए डाल लो स्वाद अनुसार. So that is where we are in this journey. And for us, when you look at spirituality at this stage of life, how going through all of this phase of whatever we have been through so far, it's about getting answers for a problem or getting a solution for a specific problem, and not about finding the right questions. Which, in terms of you guys, from what you've been talking about and what we have seen our children do, they don't seek answers from this development. They always seek new questions that they go in the pursuit of. So for us as parents, we are always seeking answers and then adding as much sugar or salt, swad anusar.
And the children are just seeking very interesting questions all the time.
Yeah.
They don't want answers. They are the answer bank.
Yeah.
They have come from the spirit realm. They are spirits. They are spiritual by nature, by design. They are spiritual. They are creative. When the social narrative is such that they're already their best in their potential. They're already everything that you can aspire for, but in their unique way. In their own unique way, they will contribute, they will express themselves unless interrupted. So to have spiritual development, to create a mechanism of non-interruption and inclusion, the greatest love that you can have for any human being is to include and accommodate their ignorance. And when a child learns to do that with a parent who has got their own conditioning, that's the most beautiful thing. And that beauty is so profound in Kali Yuga. No parent can love their child as much as a child loves a parent. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. That can you evolve and can you grow such that, you earn that respect instead of demanding it just by virtue of being someone who has given biological DNA to them. That's a minimum. You feed a child, you change the diaper, you clean the child, you bathe the child, you play with the child. All of those are incidental. It's child rearing. Anyone can do that. But the parent is the prop, the compass, the anchor for the child's life development. You don't have to look at Gurukulam as an institution, as a building. Like we were talking about it, no? If you can't convince everyone that I want to send my child to yahi Gurukulam mein bacche ko bhejna hai, you can't convince that. Okay? But the point is, you can bring the Gurukulam to your house because you are the anchor. Leela Gurukulam has its own, DIY kits and distance education and distance learning for many parents who are not able to convince the entire world, but they can do it privately in their own time. Because no matter what happens, the parent is going to be the anchor. All the Gurukulam educators are trained for it till the age of 11, 12. The parent is the one and the only and the ultimate source for a child's development. Gurukulam can only nurture that. After 12, 13, it's okay. They can come. But the quality of what they express also depends upon how they've been trained by the parents. Parent is the educational institution for the child. When the parent becomes a Gurukulam, the story changes. So that is a big thing to bring, because the questions that you can, and I know one child who had the same thing. One of the parent was completely in the Gurukulam method, and the other parent was completely like, no, Gurukulam is just an accessory in the side, but what the child needs to do is win in the social narrative. And as that child was leaving the Gurukulam, I was standing near the door. That child did not know that I was standing, but she looked at her batchmate, and what she told was amazing. You guys go and prove it on my behalf. You guys go show the world on my behalf. I know where I'm going. My father wants me to be stuck with the social narrative, and with the power that the Gurukulam has given me, I'll actually go win. Because children know very well that spiritual development gives them academic success, which is not any one of the listing that happened here, right? Spiritual development gives them physical success. Spiritual development gives them mental success. Spiritual development makes them a good public speaker. Spiritual development makes them a good articulator. Whatever you want. She knows that. And then she says, I'm going into the social narrative now. And I know that in my crucial training period, I might lose out on something. But guess what? I want you guys to remain here to prove it for me. Those are the words of a 15-year-old child who is forced to leave a system that is natural and true to her. And the only thing we as a Gurukulam had to tell her is that even Rama went 14 years because he had to, you know, stand by the word that the father gave. So this is the way the universe has designed the entire journey for you. And so even that has to be taken with grace. And they get it. Every time you talk to a parent and tell them what's the path of the child, they might not get it. But every single time you speak to a child and say, this is what your parents are expecting, so do it because that is also grace, every child has accepted. I've not had a single child who has not accepted. More than Shiva Parvati are my parents. They are like Shiva Parvati. So whatever they want, I'll do because somewhere there is a blessing and grace for me. Not a single child has negated that. But every time I've told a parent, your child is a Ganesha, your child is a Subramanya, your child is a Krishna, recognize the divinity of your child, the parent has come back with, he plays too many computer games, he's not eating in time, he doesn't sleep in time, he doesn't listen to us, she is doing this, she is having that, is what the parent has told me. I've not had a single child complain about the parents. But I've had children coming to me with compassion about, why is my dad not getting this? Why is my mother not getting this? Won't she be so much more happy? Why is my mother so dependent on the appreciation and validation that my father is giving because she's so powerful by herself? These are what children have come and spoken to me. So you have to be a Gurukulam educator really to see what is in the heart of children. Spiritual development is so different for a child, so different for the adult. So if Gurukulam nurtures that, do you think parents are in a position to take that risk today?
No. This has to be the heaviest segment from all the segments that was there. I don't want to say anything in this.
But truly speaking, Nutanma, this is the
to-
only segment for which all 9 points are downright yours. I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart. Every child needs the Gurukulam because they are spirit beings. They are spirit beings who have chosen to come to this planet and have a body so that they uplift the parents.
Yes.
Whether the parent understands it or not, this is one section in which I downright surrender to the points that you put forward. I don't know, Bharatji, if you're with me, especially as a golden period educator.
Absolutely, ma'am.
The spirit child, even before conception, who chooses the parent? The child has chosen the parent. We have been telling every time that the parent decides, where the parent is. If you are this kind of parent, Gurukulam is not for you, your child. If you are this kind of parent, if you don't have this thought, the Gurukulam is not for your child. But I go by the truth that the child has chosen the parent at the spirit level. So when it comes to spiritual development, hands down, Gurukulam is for every child. These 9 points are completely yours, ma. Because what you're presented as spiritual development, that there the parent doesn't come into the picture. There the point is the child is going to choose the Gurukulam path because the child is born here to evolve the parents. Child is not born so that parents progress or develop the child. Every child is born to make the parent a better version of themselves. Hands down, these 9 points are yours. Anything, Raiva and Bharatji?
No, ma'am.
Even when we were discussing earlier, right, we were chatting with people. So most of our journeys into where we are today, be it a Gurukulam parent, educator, or whatever it has been because of our children. So they are the ones who got us on this path.
Yes.
So it's always them, as you said. So it's they who are our gurus leading us. And yeah.
Where are both of you sitting and talking from today? You think if your children were not there, you would have been speaking?
No, not at all.
Would you
They
think
are-
I would have been doing this if Raiva and Skanda were not born to me?
Yeah.
And look at all the participants here. Do you think any one of them would have been here if
Yeah.
not for Children of the World? And if they don't have their own children, Shwetaji is here. Such a motivated GP. What is her inspiration to work with the unborn children of the world?
Mm.
So what's our score for the day?
So with the 9 points swept away to the curriculum activists, we are starting at 39 and they're at 15. That makes it a total of 54.
That's the end of day 2. We have 3 and 4. God knows what all has to open up right now.
Yeah, halfway through of the 108.
Yeah, halfway through. Again, Nutanma, you have 54 more points for grasp. So tomorrow, what you present, the way you put it across, I know every time you're trying to, enhance what you're putting across as Gurukulam points so that we lose. Parajay, we have to stand very strong. This is becoming too tough.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can sort of take questions from the audience right now. And if there are no questions, then we can sort of conclude the recording of the session and see if people want to talk to us one-on-one.